Airlines posting a wider than expected loss last night for the third quarter. Let's get over to Phil LeBeau, who joins us now with a special guest. Hey, Phil.
Thanks, Joe. Let's bring in United CEO Scott Kirby joining us from the United Club at the Phoenix Airport. Scott, I know it's early morning there, but you've had a chance to get a sense of where the state of the business is over the last 3 months. What's your sense as we head into what might be a second wave of COVID-19 building around the country?
Yeah, well, good morning, Phil, and thanks for having me. From the beginning of this crisis, United is focused on being realistic about the outlook. And going all the way back to the end of February, we thought that the possible course, the trajectory of the virus would play out like it has. And that helped us prepare. And as we went through the second quarter and the third quarter, I'm really proud of the United team. We've led the industry in all the revenue metrics, smallest decline in passenger RASM, best increase in cargo revenue, smallest decline in loyalty. That leads to the lowest apples-to-apples cash burn basis. But now we're kind of at this point where we think we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's a long tunnel. It's going to have ups and downs. It's going to take a widely available vaccine, which is probably the end of next year. But we've now turned the corner. We've gotten through the initial phase of the crisis, and we think we've turned the corner and can see it. It's still a long way off. We're going to see continued recovery in demand, but it's not going to get back anywhere close to normal until there's a widely available vaccine. But we see the path through to the end.
So let's bring up the question of getting back to break even. You all in, we're burning $25 million a day at the end of the third quarter. When do you get to zero? When do you get to break even?
So it really depends on the recovery in demand, and that is anyone's guess. What I can say with confidence, though, is on an apples-to-apples basis, United has led in both the second quarter and the third quarter. I'm certain, or confident at least, that we'll continue leading in each quarter. So we're going to be the first airline of the major network carriers to return to cash flow positive. I'm not sure when that will happen. We tended to be a little more conservative, perhaps, but it's turned out to be more realistic on the forecast of demand. So my guess is our real forecast would be a little to the right of where some others are. But what I am confident about is that on an apples-to-apples basis, we'll be the first. And really, I think the bigger point is, cash burn is a metric that we use to start looking at, can airlines or other companies survive? Do you have enough liquidity? And as we're turning the corner, cash burn is probably not the right metric to be looking at. We're really able to now start focusing on the recovery, which is in 2022 and beyond. But we'll look forward to getting back to cash flow positive at some point next year.
Scott, I'm not sure if you heard the Treasury Secretary right before you. He was talking about the need for passing some type of a stimulus package, including another $25 billion in payroll support for the airlines. You furloughed 13,000 workers. If some type of a bill comes through, let's say in the next 3 weeks, a month, whatever it is, will you then bring those 13,000 back onto the payroll?
Yeah, I did hear Secretary Mnuchin, and I've spoken to him several times in the last couple of months, as well as Speaker Pelosi. It is amazing. There's strong bipartisan support, House, Senate, White House, across the board for a second round for airlines, CARES 2. For airlines. It's important for us, for our employees, but it's also important for the economy and the ultimate rebound and the ultimate recovery in the economy. And we hope that something passes at some point. I recognize it's 3 weeks before an election, so politics makes it difficult in the short term. We hope something passes, and we will absolutely look forward to bringing those 13,000 employees back earlier than we're otherwise going to be able to.
Scott, we're running up against the top of the hour. We got to wrap up the interview, but quickly, your thoughts on Southwest saying that it plans to add flights at O'Hare and down at Houston International. Those are two of your hubs. Thoughts on them saying, yeah, we want to take you on?
Well, United has also been adding a lot of new service and experimenting with new flights during the pandemic. New point-to-point service to Florida, 4 new destinations in India and Africa. We've been working really hard behind the scenes to return United to JFK. And we have great network, great customer service, great customer loyalty at O'Hare and Intercontinental. And the biggest disadvantage we had before the pandemic of competing against Southwest was change fees. And we have eliminated change fees permanently for domestic travel. So I feel really good about our ability to compete at those 2 airports.
And Scott, we sneak in one last question here, just to reiterate this point. A second wave of COVID cases seems to be building around the country. If we see more quarantines and lockdowns, how much does that weigh on business as you head into the holiday season?
Well, quarantines and lockdowns are certainly harmful. We do see an increase in cases. I hope that as a country, as a society, as a world, we'll use masks in particular because there are a lot of things that we can do and can do safely, including, by the way, lots of information out today on the safety of flying on airplanes. A lot of things we can do safely, but finding ways to use testing. Today we start testing for flights to Hawaii, first flights to Hawaii, using testing as a way to open up parts of the economy that would otherwise continue to be closed. Because there are, as Secretary Mnuchin said, parts of the economy that are really hurting right now, and they need help. And we can do it safely, particularly if we use testing to open up those parts of the economy.
Scott Kirby, CEO of United Airlines, joining us exclusively this morning from Phoenix and the United Club there. Joe, there you heard it. And they're not giving a commitment in terms of when they get back to break even, but they believe that they will be there, perhaps a little more conservative than what we're hearing from other airlines who are saying in the spring.
Right. I was going to say a lot still up in the air, but yeah, a lot still up in the air, Phil. No pun intended. And, none of us know what the future's going to bring, which is not a very profound statement. But thank you, Phil. I'm going to take a quick, and the future's